This is W2FJH bringing up the STNY Digital VoiceNet on Brandmeister Talk Group 41367, Wires X Room 83721, and live stream to Google Meet and YouTube. The primary purpose of the STNY Digital VoiceNet is to help foster an active digital voice community in the southern tier of New York and to provide a forum for those that are interested or have questions regarding various digital voice topics. While this net is primarily for the southern tier, all stations are more than welcome to check in. This net meets weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. Again, the call is Whiskey 2 Foxtrot Juliet Hotel, and the name here is Frank. We'll first take a standby for any stations with emergencies or priority traffic. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this net, please give your call sign followed by the word break spoken 2 times. Please leave a 4 to 5 second pause between transmissions for braking stations or for those who wish to disconnect the stock group. This is a directed net, and the format will follow announcements, questions, and comments. This net utilizes NetLogger, which can be found at netlogger.org. For more information about this net or to join us on Google Meet, please visit STNYDMR.net. That's Sierra Tango November Yankee Delta Mike Romeo.net. You can also find us on 73.net. That's Sierra Echo Victor Echo November numeric number 3.net. This net will prioritize short-time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power stations, followed by, so we currently do have 3 stations checked into the net this evening. So the net would like to recognize N2NCB Paul, N3OJP Mick, and N2NRA Cliff. All right, when checking in, please give your call sign, your name, and your location. So let's take a standby for any stations that are short-time, mobile, in and out, or emergency power. Please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so let's open it up for any station that would like to check into the STNY Digital Voice Set this evening. Please call now.
N2FJH, this is W2KDC.
All right, and then I would like to recognize at W2 KDC Dennis. Is there any other station to join this evening? Please call now. All right, then, nothing heard, so we will kick things off. If there's any announcements for the net this evening, please call now. All right, nothing heard there. I did have 2 quick announcements. So last week, thank you, Mick, for covering the net last week. We actually had 2 new stations check in with us last week. So according to my calculations there, and I just had updated STNYDMR.net with it, that puts us at over 75 unique check-ins to the net. So let's keep it up, and hopefully pretty soon we'll get up to 100. So. All right, my other announcement was I did find there was a few people we had a net a couple weeks ago about Meshtastic, and I saw that KC5HWB Jason had actually recently updated a video about 3 days ago, uploaded a video, and it was actually about the Meshtastic, the LoRa devices, and he was actually going through and flashing one of them. It was an interesting video. I did post that up at 73.net, so if anybody would interested in watching it, it is up there. So, all right, going into questions. If there's any questions for the net this evening, please call now. All right, nothing heard there, so we will jump right in for comments. The net topic this evening is using digital voice while traveling. Do you bring a hotspot radio while traveling out of town, or do you use apps such as DroidStar to communicate on the go? Or are there DMR repeaters where you typically travel out of town? So, all right, let's go to the top of my list. It's N2NCB. Paul, how was your week?
Hello again, Frank and all, N2NCB here. Well, The week was mixed among the rain and working outside, getting the lawn mowed, the trim, those kinds of things, and but all made progress on productive type stuff. Same way with today. Spent the day outside, and it was nice in the morning and part of the afternoon, and then the sun came out, and which I don't mind the sun, but it just got a little too warm. Uh, but it was just about quitting time anyway, so uh, that worked out well as well. And let's see. There is when we travel, there is a radio in the car. It's not digital. Any place I go, DMR repeaters aren't around, and uh, the radio that's in the car is only when the car is stationary. I no longer can talk on the radio when I'm driving. Not since the eye surgeries, concentration has to be on the road. But standing still is fine, or if I happen to be a passenger and Anita's driving, that's okay. But always have a radio in the car, yes. Let's see, anything? Oh, that's right. That is coming up, at least locally here. Uh, June 8th is going to be the Cortland Ham Fest at the Cortland County Fairgrounds. So if anyone wants to attend that, mark it on your calendar. There wasn't anything yet when Andrew sent out the stuff email on talking frequency, but I imagine that'll come out as well shortly. So I think that's from this it from this end. Back to you, Frank. Take care. I'll into NCB.
And things there, Paul. And yeah, I also got out Friday to mow the yard there, and I tell you, I missed last week because it was raining like all weekend, and the grass was pretty high already, and it was still even on Friday. I thought it would have dried out, but it was still a little wet and kind of clumped up and everything on me there. And thank you for the reminder on the Cortland Ham Fest. Yes, and I did get an email as well, and it is coming up shortly there. So, all right, next on my list is N30JP. Nick, how was your week? Nothing heard on my end, and maybe Nick might have stepped out for a second there, but we'll give it another go. N30JP, Mick, how was your week there?
Oh, there we go. Sorry, Frank. I bumped the button here. I was changing the sound, the audio, and the volume, and I hit something else. It was a good week, and I got back home from New York Wednesday. I was pretty busy on Thursday and Friday. Had some appointments my wife and I had to take care of. But I upgraded my mobile. I've got a couple older mobiles from a different century. They're old Radio Shack HT212s, which is a good radio. I mean, it's a tank, but the audio, I'm starting to get complaints about the audio being muddy, and I said, well, it's time. So I was out in Dayton yesterday, and I picked up the ICOM 2730A, which is a dual band, 2 meter 440. So I've had my eye on it. So I just went right to the DX engineering desk and I picked that up. Um, yeah, we left at 3 in the morning yesterday morning, Saturday, and it's a 4.5 hour trip. But they stopped near Zanesville, Ohio, Cambridge area for breakfast for an hour, and then we were there when they just before they opened up the gates at 8:30. You get a break. So it's kind of nice just before you walk in the gate. The Boy Scouts, excuse me, the Scouts are there, and they will laminate your ticket for $10 and give you a lanyard and a patch. And the Scouts, 11, 12 years old, and they were just having a ball. So uh, I got my ticket laminated, the lanyard and everything. So, of course, these are big buildings out there. It's on the Greene County Fairgrounds, just outside of Xenia. And if you've ever been to DX Engineering in Talmadge, Ohio, it's maybe, oh God, it's got to be less than 20 feet wide and maybe 12 feet deep. It's just a display. They have all their radio and stuff out there. And of course, it's attached to Summit Racing. So these are massive warehouses, tractor trailer warehouses. So that's where they keep everything that you order. But they took up half this facility here. It was a huge display, and of course they carry a lot of different manufacturers. And then Icom was impressive. So was Kenwood and Yaesu. I tend to prefer Icom, but all the major vendors were there, and local distributors, or even major distributors. Many were selling these loop antennas, these big loop antennas. I think one generated 17 kilovolts. So it was kind of fun. And then we left at 5. Hot. I'm glad the bus had air conditioning, and again stopped near Wheeling and had a quick dinner. I was home by 11, so didn't get up right away this morning. That was a little bit slow. There was a digital net at 8, but with the way the propagation was, I said forget it. Okay, Frank, I'll turn it back to you. W2FJH and 30JP.
Hey, thanks, there, Mick. Just by the way, I didn't catch it. Which ham fest was this that you attended?
This is the big one. The Dayton, Ohio Hamvention. One that runs for a couple of days every year, right around this time. Yeah, this is the granddaddy of them all. I guess it's even bigger than the Orlando Hamvention that they have in February. So, yeah, it was the big one, Frank. Back to you in 30JP.
Okay, thanks, Mick. Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a very large ham fest. I just didn't catch the location of it there. And yeah, I've ordered some things from DX Engineering before. I didn't know they kind of had a very small storefront, but I know that they do have a big operation, at least an online operation there. So, all right. Next on my list is N2NRA. Cliff, how was your week?
This is N208, Cliff from Waverly, New York. Oh, it was a bit rainy all week. I finally got a break. I got the lawn mowed and got rid of some yard waste. Friday, I think late there was the Falcon launch, so it's more Starlink communication devices put up, and I think there's some more solar activity kicking around. But I was going to ask Mick there to give a report there on his Dayton trip, and I guess he did. Fine business there, Mick. This is N2RA, back to W2FJH, Frank.
Hey, thanks for Cliff, and very good there. Actually, I noticed that Mick didn't give the net topic comments for the net topic as well. But I'll go to you really quick, Cliff, there, since you just spoke. If you had any comments for the net topic, if you travel with any hotspots, radios, or if you use DroidStar or anything on the go.
No, I don't use any digital devices when traveling. I do leave the HD on when I go up to Owego and put a scan mode. Sometimes I hear Mount Pisgah on there, or up to Endicott station, but nothing like the digital. Back to you.
Okay, very good there. And yeah, I'll hand it back over to Mick there, and then we'll get down to the list here. So, Mick, if you have any comments for the net topic this evening.
Yes, Frank. I keep I thought I mentioned it. I keep a mobile in the car. They're old. They're old Radio Shack HTX 212s, and I picked up the ICOM 2730A. It is a dual band, 2 meters and 440. So I think that's a nice addition. One of the guys that I bummed around with at the Dayton Ham Fest, he likes the Flex radios, and I mean he's going to get the new one that's coming out. I think it's called the 8400. So $4,300. But primarily what you're getting is a server, so to speak, and then you run it through your LCD screen and your computer. That's what helps keep the cost down. The high-end Yaesu, oh, I can't think of the model. I think they're probably close to $14,000. But yeah, Flex had a nice setup there, as well as didn't see MFJ, but did see some of the cast-offs. Comet was there, and some of the other manufacturers. But yeah, enjoyable. I haven't been there in years, and the flea market. Just one comment there. I don't know if you could get through it in one day. I mean, it is just massive. And if you wanted to take a decent look at everything, plus I like to talk to the people, that I come across, and they always want to hear who you are, where you're from. But just an incredible flea market. Yeah, a lot of the stuff should probably be in the garbage. You could maybe pay $100 more and get something brand new. But there's always connectors to be had and all those little other things that you need to stock up on. So, but yeah, always keep a rig in the car, Frank. W2FJ8, Gen3OJP.
Okay, thanks, Mick. And yeah, so you mentioned the Icon. So do you do D-Star with that, or is that just analog only? Sorry, the net topic this evening, in case you might have missed it there, was using digital voice while traveling. Do you bring a hotspot radio while traveling out of town, or do you use apps such as DroidStar to communicate on the go? Or are there DMR repeaters where typically you do some traveling around for vacation and such? But I'm back to you there, Drew, just real quick. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the 2730 if that does D-Star or not.
Frank, no, the 2730 is not digital, and I have taken the Pi, and I have to use my phone for the hotspot. So it becomes a little complicated with all the wires and everything. And there are no digital repeaters nearby here where I live, so it's just mostly terrestrial that I use with my mobiles. One of the hot radios that the guys were getting were the Kenwood THD 75A, Tango Hotel Delta 75 Alpha, and it's a little pricey. It's over 700, but it does 2 meters and 440. But it also you can do. It says simultaneous reception of two D-Star signals, and it's got a reflector terminal mode for accessing D-Star. Bluetooth headset. Yeah, this one. So maybe things are going to start to change around here. A couple of the president of the club and the trustee picked up this radio, so maybe we'll start to see some digital work around here. But yeah, that was the hot seller from Kenwood. W2FJH M30JP.
Really good things they're making. Yeah, if you do get into D-Star, let me know, because that's the one digital voice we haven't really kind of branched out into yet. And if there was any interest, or anybody was knowledgeable into kind of bringing in DStar into our conversations and everything as well, I'd be more than happy to bring another digital voice mode in as well. So, all right, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital VoiceNet. I still do have Dennis coming up on my list, but let me take a quick standby. For any additional stations who would like to check in this evening, please call now.
This is NE2W, Ed in Binghamton.
All right, and we also have NE2W. Thanks for joining us here, Ed. All right, next on my list is W2 at KDC. Dennis, how was your week?
Thank you, Frank. My week was pretty good, like everybody else. But I did get a little bit of mowing done. I seemed to come down with like a 24-hour cold bug or whatever. Didn't feel expensive trips. I'd use the AnySpot 4 Pro as a hotspot. That would connect to the internet with my iPhone. And as far as a radio, I would be using the Anytone 878 handheld. I've got a Magnum mount antenna on the roof of the Jeep, and oops, timed out. Try that again. Got an antenna on the roof of the Jeep. So 878 to OpenSpot 4 Pro with the internet on the iPhone 14 Pro. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Frank. W2 KDC.
Hey, thanks, there, Dennis. Very good there. And yeah, I think Mick at one point, M3OJP, had some questions about that, or about open spots in general, and he was looking for something for traveling, like on the go. At least ways back there, Mick. I remember a conversation we were having there, because it's got like the antenna and everything is all internal and has a built-in battery. So Dennis, Mick might get a hold of you and ask some questions there about how you like that little device there. So, all right, very good there. All right, next on my list is NE2W. Ed, how was your week?
Oh, good evening, Frank and everyone on the net. Week was nice, weather was decent, and got a lot done. Got some more stuff to do this week, looking for a new car for the XYL. Long story, my son's car broke down out of town, and we were going to fix it, but they want a lot of money, and I think we'll put all that money into it. It won't be worth it. My kids talked me out of it, so he took my van with my call sign plate on it so he could get to work, and we're going to find a new vehicle for my wife instead of pouring money into a car that gave us problems. But other than that, it's due. I mean, we've had it for a long time. And DMR, we had a gentleman, Rick, KK1RZ, stop by. He was friends of, well, he grew up in Endicott, went to the same Explorer post that me and Drew Desker were at when we got our licenses when we were teenagers about 50 years ago. Well, Rick had got his license but moved out of the area 50 years ago, but still kept in touch with Drew, KA1M, and he stopped by from New Hampshire heading to Dayton Hamfest and gave a presentation at our monthly Barra Club meeting on DMR. And he hasn't been in it recently. It's sort of, he started out in the beginning and was very active in it till about 2016. So it was an interesting thing covering all the digital modes up to that time. DStar was probably the first, and the oldest right now. It's over 20 years old, and like that. But the presentation is on our YouTube page. It's not public, but if I'll get something out that has the link. We don't make them public. We just have them unlisted and make the link to the presentations available for people to access them. Let me catch a break here. I might have timed it out. Sorry about that. But DMR, I got into it a little later. I didn't have Raspberry Pi and all that, so I got started with DroidStar on my Android and iPhone. Subsequently, the iPhone beta testing was dropped. I guess the guy that wrote the software, you got to jump through hoops every so often with Apple to keep your beta test certification, and last one involved him getting a new Mac or something that had to prove that it worked on the latest equipment. So it went away from there, but it's still on Android until one day DroidStar updated, and my Galaxy S6, my old, I guess it's old by today's standards, they're up to 13 or something. So they updated it and it stopped working. I was a little frustrated for a while, but I found the original APK file a couple versions earlier and reinstalled that, and it works great. I just don't update it. But that's about it. On the iPhone, I moved to a thing called Repeater Phone, and it's that for All-Star and Echolink. It has excellent audio. Sorry about the dogs barking. My older son's on vacation, and we're watching his dogs. Back to you, Frank. Good group this week. I hope everyone has a good week. This is NE2W.
Hey, very good there, Ed. And yeah, I did see your email about that. And sorry, it just this week has been a very busy week for me, and I meant to try to tune in on Wednesday, and sorry about that. Looks like I was dropping out there for a second. But yeah, I busy week, and I forgot about the meeting there. I'll have to definitely double check on, watch that video on YouTube there. All right, this is W2FJH with the STNY Digital VoiceNet. I have reached the end of my list, so let's see if there's any additional stations that would like to check in this evening. Please call now. All right, and then I would like to recognize a KD2 YGL. Josh, how's it going there? I haven't heard you on the net here in a while, so if you didn't hear the net topic, we were talking about what you do for digital voice while traveling. If you bring a hotspot radio, hotspot and radio combination, or if you use certain apps like DroidStar to communicate on the go, or if happens to be where you travel, they actually have DMR repeaters in that area. So you are next on my list, so I'll hand it over to you there, Josh. How was your week?
My week's been alright. Been dealing with a lot of stuff, honestly. Mostly just, I got into a minor car accident a couple weeks back, and so dealing with the insurance company, dealing with the rental company, because the other driver's at fault, and then we've got a family vacation coming up. We're trying to, time everything just right. It's a little messy. But other than that, I'm alright. As far as the topic question, honestly, I don't do a whole lot of traveling. When I do feel like hopping on with a hold up, I honestly just usually use DroidStar, because I don't have a DMR radio in my car or anything like that. So if I am near a repeater, I'd have to physically plan out bringing an HC to do that. Usually I just use a little 5-star at home, and then DroidStar on my phone when I want to do things mobile or get out of the house. But yeah, I haven't been on the net much. I also just haven't been on radio very much. I was busy with work, and then when I get out of work, I just feel so exhausted. So, but that being said, I'll turn it back to that. You radio.
Hey, no problem at all. I'm missing the net there. We always welcome you here, but I know people get busy and everything. And the best of luck too on that dealing with the insurance companies. I know that can be a royal pain. So, all right. I once again hit the end of my list. So let's open it up this time for any additional stations or for any stations that have checked in with additional comments, questions, or concerns. Please call now.
Is N2NRA, Cliff from Waverly. I'd like to ask Mick there if he had heard, was there anything out there at the Dayton Hamfest about MFJ going out of business? Back to you, Frank.
Yeah, no problem, Cliff. Mick, did you want to pick it up there?
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Yeah, regarding MFJ, really nothing. Even at the Comet, I stopped over there, and there was no signage or anything relative to MFJ. Obviously, they weren't there with a booth, and which was a little surprising. You figured you'd want to say goodbye after all these years. They're still selling some products and supporting them, but no, and you couldn't hear any chatter either. Amongst the people walking around regarding MFJ. So they definitely filled a gap there with a lot of the products that I'm looking at right now. So back to you, Frank. W2FJH and 30JP.
All right, thanks, Mick, and thanks, Cliff. All right, let's see if there's any additional comments, questions, concerns from any stations that have checked in, or if there's any last-minute additional stations that would like to check in this evening. Just, please call now.
W2KDC. Just final comment. If anybody, Nick or anyone else, is interested in hearing more about the OpenSpot 4 Pro, I'm thrilled with it. I'll be happy to talk. And no, I do not get paid by them. So that's my only comment. Please feel free to get a hold of me, either email or give me a call. Frank, back to you.
Hey, thanks there, Dennis, and hopefully, Mick, if you have a couple of minutes, maybe after the net here, it kind of sounds like I'm not getting any more additional stations, so it's probably going to wrap up here shortly if you want to stick around and ask any feedback on that open spot. All right, once again, any comments, questions, or concerns, if anybody has checked in, or last-minute check-ins, please call now. All right, then, we will wrap things up here. I'd like to thank Paul, Mick, Cliff, Dennis, Ed, and Josh for joining me this evening. We'll be returning this talk group back to normal amateur radio use. And just by the way, I believe we actually did have a YouTube live stream successfully go through. I've had some problems the last few weeks. But I believe, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, I don't know, check after the net here, and there was some mishap or something, but I believe we actually did have a good live stream go out this week. So we return this talk group back to normal amateur radio use. Everybody have a great and safe week there. This is W2FJH, and I'll be listening.